Hey friends, Ash here with gentsscents. Hope you're doing really well. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about some alternatives to Chanel fragrances. So I'm going to go over some fragrances that are pretty similar to some very popular releases from Chanel that are not going to run you anywhere near as much as the Chanel. Chanel, of course, one of the most popular designer fragrance houses out there, and for good reason. Their fragrances are usually really top notch, but they're also pretty expensive, because you're not gonna find them marked off all that much. You're usually gonna have to pay retail price. If you can find a deal on it, it's gonna be like $2 less. Score! So that's the idea here today. I'm gonna give you some fragrances that are pretty close to the Chanel's, that are not gonna be so devastating on the wallet. So let's jump into it. Now I think it should go without saying that each one of these fragrances here is not the exact same as the Chanel. They're gonna get you close, they're gonna give you a similar vibe, similar scent profile, but it's not gonna be the exact same as the Chanel. If you want something that's the exact same as the Chanel, you're gonna have to buy the Chanel. I know that sounds pretty obvious, but I just gotta put that out there. Let's go ahead and start things off with Blitz Chanel. Super popular, lots of guys own this or have owned this. And I feel like this fragrance really helped kickstart that whole blue wave of fragrances that we've been riding for a few years now, where every scent is just going for maximum versatility and appeal. And I personally love this fragrance. I think this thing smells awesome. You can use it anywhere, so versatile, so likable. And a fragrance that's gonna get you close to that one, but not cost quite as much. Versace Parfum pour Homme. And this one looks bad because it's a tester. See that? No cap. So obviously I cheaped out here. I got a tester, saved like probably $4 or $5. I don't remember exactly. But the normal presentation has this really nice, intricate looking magnetic cap. And that's something it shares with Bleu de Chanel, that nice magnetic cap. Now obviously, it doesn't really do anything as far as the actual fragrance, but it's nice. There's another alternative you should steer clear from, and that is Armaf Tag Homme. I don't think that's good at all. That is obviously trying to be Bleu de Chanel in the most abrasive, cheap smelling, synthetic way possible. It's not good. This one has grapefruit, lemon, ginger, birch, and oak as some of the notes in the fragrance. So you're gonna get that nice citric ginger opening, that poppy, fresh sort of opening. And then as it dries down, it doesn't have the incense that Bleu de Chanel has, that Bleu de Chanel is really well known for, but it does have that birch and that oak. And those woody notes in here do give it a touch of what might be perceived as sort of a light smokiness. Versace Parfum pour Homme, a really nice fragrance from a respected designer brand, is gonna get you pretty close to Bleu de Chanel, but not cost you quite as much. And it goes without saying, since it does have that Bleu de Chanel type feeling to it, you would use it in pretty much all the same situations as Bleu de Chanel, which is literally every single situation. Up next, Chanel Allure Homme Sport. The fragrance that is close to this one, but not quite as expensive. Versace pour Homme. This is one that gets talked about a lot, and these two are pretty similar. I will say that Versace pour Homme, though, is not as creamy as Allure Homme Sport, not quite as sweet as Allure Homme Sport. Versace pour Homme is fresher, a little bit cleaner, a little bit brisker. So even though the DNA is pretty similar and they do have a similar smell to them, this one is a little bit warmer than this one, and I would say in really high heat situations, rather wear Versace pour Homme. This has lemon, neroli, tonka, and musk as some of the notes in the fragrance, and of course, with this being from Versace, it's not gonna be one of those fragrances where people see it and go like, what is that, man? That's a weird, janky looking bottle. And I do have a couple of those coming up, fragrances like that. Now, that doesn't really matter unless somebody is checking out your fragrance collection and they decide to comment on the jankiness of your bottles. I don't imagine that happens very often. So actually that's probably kind of a moot point. But yeah, Versace pour Homme, like I said, gonna get you very close to Allure Homme Sport other than the things I mentioned before. This one really good in spring, really good in summer, great daytime fragrance, great casual fragrance, great office fragrance as well, actually. And it's also actually a really solid compliment puller, just like this one. So if that's important to you, this does that well. Okay, this next one is one of those jank-tastic, terrible looking bottles. Frankly, this is a really ugly bottle. The Chanel is Platinum Egoist, and yes, I know it's just about empty and doesn't look very good, but the alternative to that, it's much cheaper, Armaf Legacy. Look at that beauty. Armaf is known for having some of the ugliest, tackiest bottles, frankly, on the planet, and this one is one of them, in my opinion. I don't really like it. It has this kind of flip top thing, like a Zippo ladder, but it doesn't really stay up very well. As you saw just now, it kind of just falls down. Sounds like a clapboard, like you're doing a movie, right? Like before the scene starts, somebody comes up and does that. Sorry for your ears just now. So it's supposed to have this kind of leather look and then metal on the corners. That's how the bottle comes across. And then you can see through the middle, so you can see how much you've got in there. So even though this bottle is really ugly, it's a great alternative to Platinum Egoist. And I don't know why they spelled Legacy the way they spelled this. I mean, take a look at that. That's just odd. This one has lavender, rosemary, cedar, oak moss, and sandalwood. That's some of the notes in the fragrance. It's really fresh, it's clean, definitely grown up, sophisticated, a little bit barbershoppy. Has a throwback feel to it, just like Platinum Egoist, but it smells fantastic. Another fragrance, very good for office wear, good for formal situations, casual situations. You can wear this a lot of places. And if you want something that smells like this is your best bet. Next up, Chanel Allure Homme, just the original Allure Homme. And the alternative to that, Perry Ellis M, another horrific looking bottle. It becomes not as bad when you take the cap off, then it's just kind of a cylinder with part of it taken out, like this little concave part on the side and then a little bump on the other side, a little nodule for some reason. And you put that cap on there and it's just kind of not very appealing. Vanilla, tonka, cinnamon, and star anise are some of the notes in this fragrance. And believe it or not, despite the cost of this, which is not very high, despite the frankly cheap looking bottle and really cheap looking cap, and terrible atomizer too, let me go ahead and, not good. Despite all that, actually smells really, really, really good. This one has more spicy cinnamon than you're gonna find in Allure Homme. Like I said, not the exact same, though they do have the coloration matched up pretty well, bottle to bottle. For the price, Perry Ellis M is as good as you're gonna get if you want a cheap alternative to this one. And frankly, Perry Ellis M is a really good scent just on its own when you consider how much it costs and the competitors in that price range, which are not good. They're mostly complete trash. In that price range, Perry Ellis M, great just on its own, not even with that connection to Allure Homme. Last one up, Sycamore, and I can't look at how almost empty that bottle is. Oh, I can't look. Good alternative to that one though, Encre Noir. Yeah. This one has cypress, vetiver, cashmere, and musk. And when you first spray this one on, if you have ever smelled Sycamore, you'll immediately be able to tell, like, yeah, it's pretty close. Similar style, things executed in a similar way. Now that being said, Sycamore is obviously higher quality. If you do spray them on side by side, you'll notice that and you'll be like, yeah, it's close. Encre Noir is close, but not quite there. Now that said, Encre Noir, for its price, one of the best fragrances ever for the price that you can pick it up for, period. I'm not bagging on the quality of Encre Noir because it is high. It is high. It's just Sycamore is higher. And Sycamore is a little bit more complex as it dries down. Pick up some more things coming out here and there, little nuances that are not in Encre Noir. But this one right here has long been one of my absolute favorite cheap fragrances ever. It still is. And this one, like just about all these fragrances, really stands alone so well on its own. You shouldn't think of Encre Noir as, oh, that's just a cheap alternative to Sycamore. You should think of it as its own thing. But If you want something that's gonna get you close to this, but you don't wanna pay the price for it, then this right here is your best. This one's gonna be better for fall and winter, cool weather situations. It does lean more nighttime. I mean, you can look at the bottle and tell that, but I wear it during the day as well. And I actually wore that to the office a lot and did well. I got compliments on it, believe it or not. So for me, office safe. And that one is gonna wrap up this list. If you want a bonus one, you could say Chanel Allure Homme Sport Cologne. Cheap alternative for that one, Jimmy Choo Man Ice. But that one is a little bit more dissimilar than these ones here. It'll get you close, but not exactly there. It's kind of close. So that's one to keep in the back of your mind. Jimmy Choo Man Ice for Allure Homme Sport Cologne. All right, that's gonna do it for me. As always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support. Stay safe out there. See you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.